ways. Get it done. No excuse, no explanations. That's got to be part of the culture.
Welcome, everyone, to the Driving Vision podcast brought to you by the Zeigler Auto Group. I'm your host, Sam Dark, and here with me, Auto Group Director of Talent Development, Mike Van Ryn. Welcome, Mike.
Hey, thanks, Sam.
Be sure to subscribe to the podcast, like it if you do, and leave a comment. On the Driving Vision podcast, we seek to learn from the best leaders who are, well, driving vision. Michigan State head coach Mel Tucker is not only a friend of the Zeigler Auto Group, but trained with us in the locker room on his vision as part of the Zeigler Auto Group speaker series. On today's episode, Mel shares that success leaves clues, and he provides some of the most prominent clues to success in his life, including having a relentless mindset, a sense of urgency, attention to detail, discipline, and why he, even at his current level, insists on an open door policy with his team, plus what he calls the strain train. Coach Tucker knows a lot about success, having turned around 11 teams in his career. Many of Coach Tucker's leadership and performance themes are familiar to us at Team Zeigler. Today, we take you inside the Zeigler locker room with Zeigler Auto Group President and CEO Aaron Zeigler and Michigan State head football coach Mel Tucker. But first, let's go backstage with Coach Tucker and discuss his time at Team Zeigler. Coach Tucker, it's been awesome having you here within the Zeigler Auto Group today. So give us your impressions of being here and speaking in the locker room to Team Zeigler.
No, it was great. I tell you what, when I walked in the building, I could tell that there was a great culture. Then walking up the stairs and then before I entered the locker room, I was like, it felt like game day for me because so many high achievers in here. You could tell that the culture is outstanding, and I'm just happy to be a part of it today.
We were thrilled to have you because you talked about that success leaves clues, and that was an awesome message. Where did you develop this vision, this strategy, these keys to success?
Yeah, just over the years, just being very blessed and fortunate to be around a lot of great coaches, a lot of great educators, just paying attention. And when you really think about it, successful people and organizations, they do certain things that allow them to win. And I've just picked up over the years the things that I thought were important, things that I could use and with my mindset and my thought process, things that I thought would work for me. I just apply them to what I do every single day.
So one of the questions we ask as part of our podcast is we ask the question, what is your vision of the future and how are you working to change that?
Yeah.
Visions change the world, right? Yeah. What is your vision?
My vision is for Michigan State football to be the gold standard of how you run an organization, college or pro. That's a commitment to excellence that we have. We work towards that every day. I want it to be the best place to work in America and the best place to play in America.
That's awesome. So you mentioned your car experience. You did dealer trades way back when, right? And then I also read that after college, you actually sold door to door.
I did.
How did that benefit you in your experience coaching sales? Because that's what we do, right?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, you have to have tough skin. My philosophy was you're going to have to tell me no 7 times before I'm going to leave.
I love it.
And so it was direct sales. It was no advertising, just knocking on doors. My goal was to knock on 100 doors a day and to be able to get the job done. But you just learn how to handle objections, give people what they want, and really just build authentic relationships because in the direct sales business, repeat business is critical.
Yeah.
Just really connecting with people on a different level just really transcends any type of sales transaction.
And so did that experience contribute to your effectiveness as a coach today?
Yeah, it does really, especially in recruiting. Recruiting is so much easier than direct sales in my mind. You have so much more information on the people that you're recruiting. So it's really helped me, be light on your feet, be resilient, don't take no for an answer, and make sure that you can't treat everyone the same, but you treat everyone fairly and treat everyone like $1 million.
Yeah. I love what you say about relentless mindset. When you say that, it motivates and it inspires all of us. Tell us a little bit about what you talked about, relentless mindset.
Yeah, the relentless mindset is just, at the end of the day, you're just never going to quit. And that's one thing about our team that people do know and respect is that we're going to play hard. We're never going to give up. We can be up 16. We can be down 16. We're just going to keep chopping every single day. And I think if you take that approach to everything that you're doing in life, you give yourself the best chance to win.
You also shared with us today a philosophy of neutral thinking. So you shared 2 books, What It Takes and Getting to Neutral. And in those 2 books, you hear Nick Saban and you hear some of the other people that you've coached with and you've probably learned from, right? Not using emotion to become too high, too low. Tell us a little bit about that. And then also, when do you use emotion? Because I do get the sense you're an emotional guy, right? I think you go to emotion at times, right?
Yeah, we all have emotion. It's just, can you have emotion without being emotional? And neutral thinking really helps in that regard. You always go to the truth. You always go to the facts. And based upon what you know, and you take the judgment out and then try to take the emotion out of it, it tells you what you need to do next. And what you need to do next creates the outcome. And it's always important, to ask yourself, what is the next right step to make?
That's awesome. So think of a recent big decision you've made where you've used that neutral mindset. Give us an example of that.
Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, you look at games, a game against Michigan, and you have a big fourth down decision you have to make, whether you're going to go for it or you're going to punt. And you look at the game situation, look at how many possessions you have left in the game. You look at what is your probability of punting the ball and pinning them inside the 10-yard line? Or are you close enough for a field goal? What's the momentum of the game? Things like that. And based upon the information that tells you what you need to do next, and just go for it.
And in that case, emotion kills, right?
In that case, emotion kills. You can't listen to the crowd. You can't think about what you're going to say in a press conference. You have to go to the facts, go to the truth, and then make a decision. I get paid to make decisions.
Another comment I love that you made today is nobody cares that McDonald's raised the price of a McMuffin. Tell us what you mean about that.
Yeah, I mean, Barry Alvarez used to tell us that all the time when I played for him at Wisconsin. Says everybody's got an excuse or an explanation for why something did or didn't happen. Eliminate the excuses. Nobody cares about excuses. The bottom line is, did you get the job done? Did you come through? Did you execute? And when you do that, you take the excuses out of it, you can really just focus in on what you have to do and just making sure that you're prepared to make sure that you can answer the bell.
Yeah. In high performance cultures, excuses go by the wayside, right? And there is no excuse but to perform. The strain train. What's the strain train? That's another part I loved about today's conversation.
Yeah, the strain train that's in our weight room. Every Friday, our strength coaches push our guys to the limit and force them to dig down deep and to reach and to strain their gut, to complete a set, complete a rep, to push their teammates. And we take pride in the strain train. And that's something that we know that if we continue to strain and we take strain for each other, we can make the practice harder in the games. And ultimately, when we get in the game, we can execute at a high level and win. You also said today, those who want to be great want to be coached. So last question, those who want to be great want to be coached. What does that mean? Where have you seen evidence of that in your career? Well, everybody needs a coach. You can't see your own eyebrows, right? And so if you want to be great, you have to take constructive criticism. Sometimes there's harsh criticism, but you need to internalize that. Don't lie to yourself. Make sure that you're always working to get better. You have to humble yourself in that endeavor to be the best. And that's really what it's all about. Just taking that coaching and knowing that, sometimes you have to be comfortable being uncomfortable and taking that hard coaching. And that's how you become great.
It is so odd that people think the highest performers don't need a coach. And then people who are mediocre start thinking, I don't need a coach, and they throw ego out there. And I love this concept that the best of the best actually seek that coaching. They want to become better through it.
Yeah, and once you think you know everything, that's when you're going to start losing. Yeah. And that's a bad place to be. You always work to get better. Always look for people that can help you, whether in your profession or outside of your profession. We can all learn from each other.
Coach, thank you for being so generous with your time today. Thank you for visiting the Zeigler Auto Group and sharing your vision of the future. And it's been a privilege being with you.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
All right. Good morning, Team Zeigler.
Morning.
Great to be with you. So we've got an amazing speaker today that really needs no introduction. He started out playing football for the University of Wisconsin in the Big Ten, and then went on to coaching at Michigan State. He then coached in the NFL for a number of years, came back to college and won a national championship. And 2 years ago, Michigan State hired him as their coach. And Michigan State was on a downward trajectory, unfortunately, in football at the time. And I'm thinking we got about a 5-year rebuild ahead of us. Well, this guy had different ideas. And he came in the COVID-shortened season. His first game, he beats Michigan. And then in his first full season this year, the media picked him to finish dead last in the Big Ten. He had other ideas. His team went on a roll. They got ranked as high as number 3 in the nation. And they ended up beating Michigan again. Went 11-2 this year, won their bowl game, and ended up 8th overall in the nation at the end of the season. And he was named unanimous Big Ten Coach of the Year. So let's give a warm welcome to Michigan State head coach.
Thank you. Thanks, Aaron. Yeah, I don't believe in some of that fake news that's out there. This brings back a lot of memories. In high school, I had a job because my assistant basketball coach was the new car sales manager at Motor Cars Honda in Cleveland Heights. And so I used to do dealer trades in high school. Remember back, do you still do those? Yeah. So the key to it for me was not when I had one of the Civics without the air conditioning, but if I could get a like Honda Prelude, then I would get lost and I couldn't get it back to the dealership before they closed. So I had to take it home and then drive to school in the morning. Yeah, so if anybody tries to do that, you know what's going on with that. So as a coach, you always have to know your personnel. How many Blue Bellies in the room today? School down the road, Wolverines, Ann Arbor. None? Come on. There's always one in the weed. Any more? There you go, over there. Guys are spaced out, trying to triangulate the situation. All right. Well, you've done a good job. This is better than usual. You got to keep them out of here. You'll be looking for a job here pretty soon. All right, so I'll get started. I know we don't have all day. People ask me like all the time, like, what's the key? What is it about, what you're doing? How are you able to go from 2-5 to 11-2? And just, how do you turn these programs around? And to me, the number one thing is culture. Like that's the foundation of everything we do. And in regards to turnarounds, this would be the 11th time that I've been part of the first year of a program, going all the way back to middle school. Now, I don't know why, but I paid attention, and going all the way back to my middle school basketball coach in the 8th grade, that was his first head coaching job, 8th grade. My high school coach, it was his first head coaching job in the 9th grade at Cleveland Heights. Wisconsin, Barry Alvarez, his first head coaching job. And it goes on and on and on. Jim Tressel, his first year at Ohio State. Nick Saban, his first year at LSU. Romeo Cornell, his first head coaching job with the Cleveland Browns. Mike Mularkey, his first year at Jacksonville. So, success leaves clues. You get a chance to see how people build these programs, these organizations. And I figured out early that culture is the key. And my definition of culture, and people always say, well, what's your definition of culture? And there's so many definitions. Mine is how you live and behave every single day. That's my definition. And how you live and how you behave, those are actions, those are activities, those are things that you do, and those things create outcomes. Behaviors create the outcomes, and that's what we're all about. We're outcome-based. It's a production business. So I'm just going to talk to you about a couple of the key elements that we have in our culture. Not all of them. It can be somewhat complicated, but these are things that we talk about every day. We're very conscious of it. It's very intentional, how we develop our culture, and that's what I did. Like I hired the coaches when I got here in February 2020. The next order of business was laying down the foundation of the culture and shifting the culture. The first thing is a relentless mindset. That's everyone in our organization. The players, the coaches, the support staff, the trainers, strength and conditioning, dietitians, managers, equipment folks, maintenance, everyone. Relentless mindset. The relentless mindset is basically this. Relentless has two components. It's high velocity and it's nonstop. We're never going to quit. We're never going to stop. We're just going to keep coming. We're going to do it fast. We're not slowing down for anyone. We don't slow down for someone else to catch up or to keep up. We could be up 16, down 16. It doesn't matter. We're going to keep coming after your throat every single day. High velocity, nonstop, scratching, clawing, whatever we got to do to get the job done. It's going to be a relentless pursuit of excellence, whether it's recruiting, it could be X's and O's, it could be strength and conditioning, it could be rest and recovery, it could be academics. Everything is a relentless mindset. And I need to be able to see that in the people that I work with every day. If you don't have a relentless mindset, then East Lansing is not the place for you. And that doesn't make you a bad person. I'm not going to judge you, but you need to go somewhere else. And thank God for the portal. That's a joke, right? Yeah, it's not really a joke. Sense of urgency. So when you see our people work, or when you step into our building, just like when I stepped into the locker room here, it felt different. That's how it should feel when you step into our football building. You should feel a sense of urgency, like in everything we do. We don't have people running around with like chickens with their heads cut off, because everybody knows what the hell they're supposed to be doing, but we're doing it quickly. Like we're in a hurry, we're not in a rush, we're getting it done and we're moving. And a sense of urgency, you'll see that when we step on the field, our players. Like we start practice, spring practice March 15th. And when our guys step on the field, they come out of the locker room, they step on the field, they're working. From the time they step into that indoor facility or on that practice field, they're doing something. They're with their coach doing something in pre-practice. We got the hurdles lined up. They're doing joint mobilities. You don't see people just standing around. You don't see people just standing around just wasting time. That SOB, okay, who can stop time has not been born yet. It's not going to be born. We don't have time to be wasting. The clock, it's a race against time. Everybody's got 24 hours in a day. So what are we doing with ours? So we step on that field, it's time to work. You don't see people walking, okay? So in football, Just like here, you might have a shift change or, you're going to transition from one deal to the next. You don't see people walking. You see people running, okay? Coaches, managers, players. I tell you, we need fast managers. We need fast people with water bottles. I mean, everybody's running their asses off to get to the next deal so we can get the next drill started. And I tell guys, if you don't know where to go, the horn blows and you should know where to go. But if somehow you don't know where to go, okay, and that horn blows, just jog in place until you can figure the shit out. We don't have time. That bang just kicked in. Sour head. Outstanding. Yeah, only the mailman's walking. Attention to detail. That's important. So, for example, shirts tucked in practice, the t-shirt underneath the practice jersey, shoes tied up properly. We have mouthpieces in, chin straps buckled up when you have your helmet on. Like, those are details. That's like dotting your I's and crossing your T's. We'll say, well, what's that got to do? Why, if my shirt's out, that doesn't make me run any faster, or I don't have my mouthpiece in, if the official doesn't call it, what difference does it make? Those are details, right? And that's commitment to excellence. That's doing everything right all the time. Okay, and details, if you don't take care of the details, like off the field, you're not going to take care of them on the field. If you don't take care of them in practice every day, then you're not going to take care of them in the game. You just can't turn on in the game, and it doesn't catch up to you till it catches up to you. At some point, you're going to look at that guy, he gets a penalty in the game, okay? And you're going to say, I should have told that guy to tuck his shirt in, because the attention to detail is not there. That's on me as a coach. If you're not coaching it, you're letting it happen. Discipline, critically important. Discipline is not punishment. Punishment is punishment. Discipline is doing what you're supposed to do, when you're supposed to do it, the way it's supposed to get done. And you need to understand why it's important to do it a certain way. That's discipline. So, for example, we're running plays in practice. So we have cones that are 5, 10, 15, 20 yards behind the line of scrimmage. If you're not in and you're behind that cone. You're behind those cones. Okay? Your toes are behind those cones. If your toe is above, like in front of, you might lose a toe. You might lose a foot. I'll cut that shit off. Okay? Your ass is behind those cones. If you're on the sideline, okay, you're behind the dotted line. You're behind the sticks. Sideline discipline. Okay, well, how can I expect to have discipline during the game on the sideline when we don't have it in practice? And discipline is not the easiest thing in the world to do, but when you think about it, I think about it like as an illusion of choice. So I'll give you a choice, okay? If you want to be, you were an elite level athlete, weren't you? Quarterback, undefeated, 13-1. That's freaking hard to do. That's hard to do. Okay, so you want to be great. You want your teammates to be great in terms of training, getting ready in the summer, right? Getting ready for camp. That's the best shape you're going to be in your life, right? As soon as you go to camp, right? Okay, so it's a week before camp, and I hold up a bag of Doritos and an apple. You want to be great. Is there a choice? No. It's really no choice, right? Choice is the illusion. Everybody knows that the apple is better for you, gives you the best chance to compete at the highest level. So do you really have a choice? So choice is an illusion. So when you think about discipline and what you're supposed to do, how you're supposed to do it, when you're supposed to do it, and understand why, you have very, very few choices. If you want to be great, you're going to be disciplined in what you do. Very, very few choices. It's a Spartan existence. It's a very simple life. You don't have a lot of choices if you want to be great. You got to have discipline. You got to have self-discipline. Communication is critically important. Our culture is like all about over-communicating. Like who needs to know? What do they need to know? And did I tell them? Does it do any good just that I know what's supposed to do? But I haven't told anyone. I haven't told the right people. Over-communicate. We tell our players during the game in practice, sign and co-sign. I give a signal, I get it back. Give a call, get a call. Two-way communication. Make sure. We don't care if they know, the opponent knows. We got to make sure we know we're on the same page and we're communicating. Close the loop on the communication in any organization. If I ask Will, I say, Will, can you give Aaron a call check on the time and make sure that, blah, 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 blah. Then he's got to, let me know. He's got to close that loop on the communication and say, yeah, I talked to Aaron, we're good to go, blah, 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 blah. He's going to send me a text or he's going to call me or whatever. Because if not, then what's got to happen? I got to waste time. Okay, first of all, there's some doubt in my mind. Then I got to waste time calling him back or sending him a text back, hey, did you talk to Aaron? So just close the loop in the communication. It doesn't take long. One thing I discovered in the past calendar year, voice text. How many of you have discovered voice text on the iPhone? Is that the best thing since sliced bread? You can time how long it takes to send a voice text. You send a voice text, 18 seconds. You don't have to worry about that spell correct stuff. You don't have to worry about things being misinterpreted. You know how you send a text to someone, communication, or you get something back and it look kind of weird. And you're like, what the hell is he talking about? Then you call them and say, hey, what's up with that text? Oh, that's not what I meant. Miscommunication, right? But it's important, okay? Who needs to know it? Okay, what do they need to know? And did we tell them? Did we communicate that? Are we on the same page? Connection. You talk about family. The connection we're all connected somehow, some way. We're all connected. We see this more now than ever. What I do affects you. What you do affects me. And it's a football family. This organization, there's a family atmosphere. That's part of the culture. You have to work at that. Well, a big part of developing that family is having like really authentic relationships. They go beyond what you're doing day to day here. And it's just as simple as I see you as a person, not just as a sales manager or service manager or whatever. I see you as a person. I actually give a damn about you beyond what goes on in your organization here with your family, your kids, your interests outside of, and I understand, hey, like football is what you do, but it's not who you are. I tell players that all the time. Football is what you do, it's not who you are. It's just one of the things you do well, but you're much more than a football player. That's important with connection. And then open door policy. People ask me about the portal and they say, what's going on with the portal? And we could talk, for another time, okay? We could talk about that forever. But you'd be surprised at how many players tell me that have come from other Power 5 schools. They tell me, I can never get in to see the head coach. I can never get in to see him. He recruited me. He was in my living room. He told my parents that he was going to take care of me. Then I had an issue, had somebody want to talk about it, had a question. I couldn't even get in to see him. Guy never even talked to me. His door was always closed. He was never around. So open door policy, it seems like everybody says it, but like if someone says they need to talk to you, are you going to talk to them? Are you going to sit down and talk to them? You're going to communicate with them? Are you going to connect with them? Or are you going to say, yeah, well, why don't you give me a call next week and we'll see how I get you in? Well, see, it might be too damn late, right? Like I said, we don't have time. We don't have all day. So that authentic relationships, the open door policy, and say, I see you as a person is something we can't take that for granted. If I believe that if I do well, you do well. If you do bad, I do bad. If you really believe that, then why aren't we connecting? No excuses, no explanations. So what does that mean? Well, I'm supposed to be here at 8:40, okay? And just like this morning, I was supposed to be here at 8:40. We're gonna start at 9 o'clock, okay? Well, I don't get here till 9:15 because I had a flat tire. Well, that's an excuse. And it may be a good excuse. We may got into an accident. That may be a really good excuse, but still an excuse. The bottom line is I wasn't here. Where's Mel? We don't know. He's not here. Well, then what are we going to do? Well, we're just going to push it back. Oh, well, then if we push that, well, I got somebody I can't put, I got to leave. I got to cut out. Then it gets all screwed up. Then I walk in here, he's like, here's the slap coming in from Lansing at 9:15. He's supposed to be here at 8:40. Well, he had a flat tire. Nobody cares. They may say they care, but they don't care. Just get your ass here at 8:40. Find a way. Get it done. No excuse, no explanations. That's got to be part of the culture. You may have a good excuse, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Just get the job done. Find a way to get it done. Hard work. Good old-fashioned hard work. This stuff that I'm talking about, this is not something out of some type of book. I'm talking about this is just success leaves clues, shared experience. Hard work pays off. Just good old-fashioned Midwest. I'm from Cleveland, Ohio. Just roll your sleeves up and just get at it. Like elbow grease. Hard work. We want our practices to be harder than the games. That's the goal. We can have our practices be harder than the games. I want our guys to strain. Like you'll see on social media on Fridays, you see a strain train. Because we want guys to strain when they work out. When they work, we want to see them reach deep down. We want to push them to the limit where they think they can't go one more, and then they do go one more. And we want guys to be able to take strain for their teammates. Are you willing to take some strain for your teammates in here? Maybe pick up the slack. Someone's got COVID and they got to stay home with the kids. Are you willing to take strain for that person? That's huge. In training, can you make the training harder than the game? Then when it's actually time to make that sell? Can you put enough into the training, enough hard work into the training so you're not just ready, but you're actually prepared because of the hard work? And being ready and prepared is not the same thing. People that go to the games and they're out there tailgating and all that, they're ready for the game, but they ain't prepared. The dudes that prepare for the game want to come out the tunnel. There's a difference between being ready and prepared. Are you willing to put the hard work in to be prepared for the moment and to strain, to get there and take strain for your teammate? Hard work. Conscious competence. One of the reasons why in the first year, that COVID year, we talked about that 2-5 year, where we weren't consistent because like the first game we lost to Rutgers, we turned the ball over 7 times. The next we go down the road and we beat the Blue Bellies. We didn't turn the ball over 1 time and we beat them on the road and they were ranked in the top 10. Then we lose a few more games and Northwestern comes in. They're ranked in the top 10. Then we beat them. Then we lose another game and then we go to Penn State. We're up 2 scores and halftime, then they end up losing that game. Well, it's like we guys are up and down like a yo-yo. We don't know what we're going to get. We don't know what we're going to get out of the team. That's because we weren't consciously competent. We didn't know, Like when we had success, like when we went down the road and beat those SOB, we didn't know why. We didn't understand why we were successful. That's important. Like, you have to understand, like, why did you have a good month? Why did you have a good quarter? Why did you have a good meeting? What took place? What did you do right? What did you do right? Sometimes, if you don't have success, you got to understand that too. This is why I wasn't able to make that sale. You can't judge a book by its cover. I assumed some things that weren't true. That's why. You got to be honest with yourself. You got to go step by step. You got to debrief that, dude. You got to go step by step. The action, analysis. Okay, why were we successful? Okay, well, we didn't turn the ball over. We were able to run the ball. We stopped the run. We completed big plays. We played stout in the red zone. We ran the ball in the red zone. We did these things. We didn't have penalties. That's why we were successful. So we continue to do those things, those behaviors, do those things. Behaviors create the outcomes. Then we're going to be successful. We can become more consistent, and consistency and performance is how you become successful. You're not up 1 minute and down the next. You got a top salesperson selling 85 cars a month. That's every month. It's not 85 one month and then 2 the next month. If you got someone selling 20 cars 1 month and then 2 cars the next month and then 15 and then 1, they don't know what they're doing. They might even think it's luck, or it was the weather. It was something else. COVID. No, you don't understand why you sold those 20 cars? Well, you can't be consistent in your performance. You won't be successful. People don't know what they're going to get from you. And that ain't good. That's how you become average, and people don't want to pay for average. You end up unemployed. It's a lot of football coaches living under bridges around here. Lots. You see them. You know what I'm talking about. Accountability, a culture of accountability. Easier said than done. Okay, so how do you hold people accountable? Well, first, you have to make sure everyone has a clear and defined role, everyone in an organization. Because how can you hold people accountable if they know, they don't even know what they're supposed to be doing or how to do it? You ask someone, well, who was supposed to do this? And that's, you see people going like that. Well, that's on me. That's my fault because I haven't defined the roles. It's not clear. Like, I literally have to pull out the job descriptions. We literally have to look at the org chart. I come to East Lansing and there's people that were already here working in the football office. I walk in and they're lined up wanting to meet me. They want to know, do I still have a job? And I'm asking what they do, and they can't even tell me what they do. Like, who does this? Well, I kind of do it, but she kind of, and then sometimes, well, shit, man, get out. Give me the job descriptions. Let me look at this stuff, and then we're going to start over. We don't even know. I can't even hold anyone accountable. I don't even know who's doing a good job because we don't even know what their jobs are. So how can you hold people accountable? They don't have clear and defined roles. Same thing with players. Like, what is my job? What's my role for this game? Am I a backup? Am I a starter? Am I going to play 15 plays on my special teams? Or I'm just emotional support? It's a home game and it's homecoming. We're dressing everybody. And this guy, we know these guys aren't going to play, but they can have a role. They got to have a positive effect on someone in the game. They got to chart some plays. They got to do something. They're not just standing there, waving in the stands, waving to their mom and their dad, saying, I'm dressed. How's that going to help us? So I tell the coaches, if you want this guy to dress, you know this guy's not going to play, but you want to reward the guy because he's done a good job in practice, give him a role for the game, then he can dress. But he's not just going to be trotting around out there, prancing around with a towel hanging down, waving at his parents. Make sure he's got a job for the game so I can hold him accountable. Everybody needs to be held accountable. And peer accountability, which is where we need to take our next step. That's the difference between 11-2 for us and getting in the playoffs and having a chance to win 2 games and be a national champion. Peer accountability. We need to have a player-led team, not just a coach-led team. But peer accountability is a son of a pup because nobody wants to do it. Nobody wants to do it. I mean, who wants to confront their teammate and say, hey, that's not how we do it, or you didn't run through the line, or you need to tuck your shirt in, or, you skipped class today. That's not how we do it, or whatever. Who wants to do that? And then people say, well, I'll do it because they will do it. But then when someone does it to them, now they got a problem. Now they get offended. You can't get offended. We're all here to win. If we know that we have a player-led team, we're going to go further than a coach-led team. So we need to hold each other accountable. I just had these military guys in last week on Wednesday and Thursday, and they had them on the indoor on Wednesday. They had them in the pool on Thursday morning at 5 a.m. in the deep end. Some guys couldn't swim. It happened. I mean, there's one guy walking around, he's got one arm. Big yoked up guy walking around with one arm. Some other Israeli guy. And these guys are killers. Put them in the deep end. And guys got to hold each other accountable to do perfect jumping jacks and perfect this and perfect that and take the shirt off and go in the game. And then people are scared to death. But that's leadership. Leadership, cohesive team. Teamwork, huge. Like teamwork, like in football, is everything because you think about it, we got 11 guys on the field at the same time. trying to run a play and everybody's got to do it right. And we playing like 60, 70, 80 plays a game. And these guys are 18 to 22 years old, you know. Everybody's got to do it right for the play to work. Now, you could be playing a team that's not as good and you don't have to do it right all the time. You can still make plays and still score, still win. But then it doesn't catch up to you until it catches up to you. And now you're playing somebody really good and you got to do it right all the time just to have a chance. Well, it's teamwork. You know, everybody's counting on everybody to do their job. And then you have to appreciate that it is a team and it does take teamwork to get it done. So if I'm a wide receiver, if I'm Speedy Naylor and I catch a touchdown pass and why should I just go to the crowd and just, hey, look at me. I'm the greatest. I'm the next Jerry Rice. Look at me. It was all me. All me. Me. Does that make sense? Coach had to call the play. You know, the offensive line had to block. Quarterback had to make the right read, had to deliver the ball, you know. Everybody else had to run their route so they had the proper spacing or whatever. And then I was able to complete the catch, score a touchdown. So what should I do when I score a touchdown? Go find my teammates and celebrate with them. Put my hand on their helmet. That's what I should do. And give credit to other people. Like after the game, when one of those guys, like Graham Couch or one of those guys puts the microphone in front of your face, and they ask you about the touchdown, you say, it was all me. It was me. I'm the greatest. I'm the best. I told him, give me the damn ball. You say, no. Coach called a great play, just the way he practiced it. It's great timing. You know, offensive line did a great job. Quarterback, as usual, made the right read. You know, I just happened to be the guy that, you know, the defense said, throw the ball to me. Threw me a nice ball. Right there, I couldn't shoot it. We've done so many times in practice, I couldn't get it wrong in the game. So many times we've done it right in practice. I just executed a play, and thanks to my teammates, we were able to score that touchdown, and that's what that was. If you hear guys saying that, you hear people saying on your team, now you get real teamwork. Non-negative. This is huge for us. You'll never hear me tell my team or my staff to be positive. I'm not in the positive business. So all those books, like at Barnes & Noble, to say all that positive stuff, I ain't in that section. That's just me. Now, I'm not judging. I'm saying I'm just not in that, especially unearned positivity. We're down 16 points in East Lansing, in the Woodshed, in Spartan Stadium, Barstool Sports, Fox Big Noon, ESPN Game Day. We go in the locker room and we're down 16 points. What's positive about that? Nothing. So I'm going to go in and say, hey, guys, be positive. Hell no. For what? We're getting our asses kicked. Excuse my French, you know? However, non-negative is where we want to be. Non-negative. And if we have something to be positive about, then we can be positive about that, okay? But non-negative, what does non-negative mean? So negativity has a negative effect 100% of the time, and it's proven. You can look it up. Negativity has a negative effect 100% of the time, okay? There's no studies that say positivity works all the time, but negativity does work. And if you think something negatively, say it's, 7 times, you're thinking something like a negative thought, it's affecting you like in a major way, in a negative way, a negative thought. But if you say it, 7 times more powerful if you just think it, if you say it. So we tell our guys, don't say dumb shit out loud. Like, it's cold. We got to Penn State, it's cold. It's cold. When you guys grab me a napkin, or somebody will keep grabbing me a napkin, this bang got me. It's okay. I'm not going to fall out. It's cold. Or we're down at Coral Gables. It's hot. Go out on the field for warm-ups. Guys like, man, it's hot. Man, shut up. What are you talking about? How's that helping me? How's that helping your team? How's that helping you? You're thinking it, and then all of a sudden you're going to say it and have a negative effect on the guy standing next to you, to whoever hears it, because you want to be thinking negative. It's hot, I mean, think of that. Think about that. You make it into work. You pull up. You get in there. You get your coffee. You get settled in. You're trying to get your mind right. Somebody walk past you. It's a shitty day out there. The wind chill is -3. Froze my ass off. It took me 25 minutes to scrape my car off. And they raised the price of English muffin, McMuffin at McDonald's. They raised it as 3 cents more. Now you're trying to get your mind right, and this person just drug you down, being negative. So just keep it to yourself. If you're going to be negative, I better not hear it. But you shouldn't even go there. Just be I'm not telling you to be positive. What's positive about COVID? I ask you to be positive, but we don't have to be negative. Non-negative, and that's language. That's in a winning culture. Language is important, like the words you use, like execution and passion, reputation, integrity, drive. Those words mean something. And if you get those people saying those words, you got a chance. This is big, neutral thinking. I'm gonna give you 2 books. One book is It Takes What It Takes by Trevor Mowat, and the other one is Getting to Neutral by Trevor Mowat. It just came out. He was our mental conditioning coach, one of my best friends. He just passed away in September, the week of the Miami game. hence the deep water quote after the game. But Trevor introduced me to the concept of neutral thinking in 2015 when I was coaching at Alabama. Like Aaron said, I spent 8 years in college, 10 years in the NFL. Then I came back to college in 2015 at Alabama with Nick Saban. We won a national championship. So I met Trevor there because he worked with Trev and he's worked with us. Bama, Georgia, Colorado, Michigan State, works here. Talked about neutral thinking. So what is neutral thinking? Because if you know me, I'm not going to get too high. I'm not going to get too low. My teams are not going to get too high. They're not going to get too low, okay? We're going to stay neutral. And neutral thinking is basically says this. Here's the situation. Here's what we know to be true. This is what we know to be. Here are the facts. This is what we know. This is the truth, okay? And we're not going to judge it. It's not right or wrong. It's not good or bad. It just is what it is. We're not going to be emotional about it. Go to the truth. Go to the facts. And based upon what we know to be factual, what we know the truth is, and we're not going to lie to ourselves, okay? Based upon what we do know, that's going to determine what we do next. What's the right next step? What's the right next step? It's always most important what we do next, because what we do is an action, it's a behavior, okay? And those create outcomes. So what we do next is going to create the outcome we want. So when you think neutrally about a situation, like people say, well, how do you make it through? Oh, you get the job, February 12th, as soon as you get the coaches hired, next thing you know, COVID hits. How did you make it to that? Neutral thinking. I'm not going to judge it. Good, bad, right or wrong. You know, it is what it is. What do we know? We didn't know a lot. What did we know? Well, we got to do this. We got to do this. We got to do this. You're just wasting time when you're complaining about it. You're wasting time getting emotional about it. You're wasting time trying to judge it. Is this good or bad? Is this... No. What do we need to do? What do we need to do next? Okay, send everybody home. Okay, we need to learn how to Zoom. We're going to start Zooms on Monday. Okay? Neutral thinking. And I'm telling you, neutral thinking is very difficult, and you have to practice it. It's like a skill. No, it's a skill. Because if you're telling me not to judge the situation, that's tough. How do I not judge the situation? You know, you say, well, is it like emotionless? No, you're going to have emotion without being emotional. There's going to be some emotion, okay? But again, like, what does it tell you need to do? You know, neutral thinking, critically important. And then last thing, before I take questions at my own time, okay? Last thing is success leaves clues. So I played for Barry Alvarez at Wisconsin. I was in his first recruiting class in 1990. We were 1-10 my freshman year, 5-6 Rose Bowl. Okay, then they named the street after him. He was the AD, now he retired. Okay. Then I came to Michigan State in 97 with Saban. Then I went to Miami of Ohio for a year. Then I went to LSU with Saban. Then I went to Ohio State with Jim Tressel. Won a national championship. That was his 5th national championship. Okay. Then I go to the Cleveland Browns with Romeo Cornell, who had just been with Bill Belichick and just won a Super Bowl there. Then I go to Jacksonville with Jack Del Rio, who played for Jimmy Johnson. Then I go to Chicago Bears, you know, and coaching in Soldier Field. And then I go to Alabama. Then I go to Georgia. We played for the national championship in year 2. Now I got 2 national championship rings. Played for another one. Okay, then I go to Colorado. Then I come here. Now, I've been around a lot of great coaches. I've been around a lot of great players that I've coached that have taught me some things. And all the people that you meet along the way. In the business of football, I learn more from the people that are not in football. I learn more from those folks, okay? If you see someone that's successful, if you see a company being successful, having success, the way you can see it, you say they're doing something right. Figure out what they're doing and maybe do some of that. That's what they're doing. You see someone next to you, like they're excelling, they're getting promoted, and you're sitting there saying, oh, they're just kissing somebody's ass. Well, maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe pay attention to what they're doing. Maybe you need to do that. Maybe they're super organized, or maybe instead of networking, instead of kissing ass, maybe they're networking. Maybe they're closing the loop. Maybe they're following through. Maybe they're writing handwritten notes. Like, how are they doing this? What are they doing like every single day? You know, so there's no overnight success. Like, maybe I should start doing that. Oh, well, this guy owns this place and like he's got all this money, right? Well, you're looking at that. Well, what is he doing? What has he done? Did you ever ask him? How did he get started? What worked? What didn't work? Like, just ask, find out, and then say, well, maybe I need to start doing that. Maybe instead of me taking 2 minutes to bang out a text message and I got to read it 3 times before I send it, look for typos, just take 18 seconds and send a voice text. Save me time. Maybe that'll work. Success leaves clues, and they're all over. They're not just in sports. It's not just Tom Brady. But you want to think about it. Tom Brady's not the fastest guy. He doesn't have the strongest arm. The guy's like 65 years old. He's still playing. What's he doing right? We say he sleeps in this hyperbolic chamber. He does it. Well, maybe I need to do that. Maybe I need to do that. He sleeps 12 hours a day. Maybe I need to sleep 12 hours a day. Maybe I'll be the next Tom Brady in whatever I'm doing. So I'm going to wrap it up. I know we got 10 or 15 minutes left for questions. Anything you want to know, as long as you don't, we got 2 bluebellies in, so I'm not saying anything. Okay? But as long as you don't post it or tweet about it or put it in the chat rooms, and if you do, I will hunt you down relentlessly. Trust me, I know how. I've been doing this long enough, but I'll ask pretty much anything if I can. Questions? Yes, ma'am. That's a great question. I've never been asked that. Ding, ding, ding. Get my wheels turning. To ditch a bad habit or to build a new one? Well, I'll say this. I know how to fix the bad habits, and I know how to build the new ones. You build it by repetition, like over and over and over and over again. But the way I get them to ditch the bad habits, I go in hard. I go in super hard on people. Whether they work like staff or players, I go in super hard. I go in like extremely hard on them on this is the way we're going to do it. And you got to shit or get off the pot. Like this is what we're going to do. If you ain't with this, you got to go. You can never start off soft and then say, oh, it's not working, then pick it up. It's too late. You already lost them. You got to go in right from the day one and you got to say, this is how we're going to do this. This is exactly how we're going to do this. And this is why. This is why it's important to do it this way. Okay. And I know what works. And this is it. If you got any questions, you let me know. But we're coming in. This is where we're doing it. And I don't care how you did it before. Because I hear that all the time. You're going, well, we never done it that way. Well, listen, there's a reason why I'm here. There's a reason why I'm here right now. And guess what? I'm the one that's got to go to the press conference after the game. Me. So when you become the head coach, you can do it the way you want to do it. But right now, I'm the one that's got to go to the press conference, so we're doing it like this. So you don't get a lot of bad habits after that. And if they do, then that means they're not bought in. They're not changing. They're not bought in. They don't believe in what you're doing. And then at that point, then they need to move on. Go somewhere where they fit in, but where their values align a little bit more. And then the good habits are just repetition, just being consistent in what you're asking people to do. And you don't change it from day to day. Oh, hey, I want you here 10 minutes early. Oh, no, it's okay if you just come on time. Oh, you don't have to come in at all. You can work from, it's just consistent.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it, man. Thank you. Thank you.
We greatly appreciate you being here with us today.
Appreciate you guys.
Thank you for the difference. I know.
Thanks for the bang.
Yeah, get you going.
A special thanks to Michigan State head coach Mel Tucker and Aaron Zeigler for participating in today's podcast. Until next time, how are you driving vision today?